Let's get into our week 5 picks and predictions, starting with Thursday Night Football, Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Not a huge matchup here, but that's kind of how Thursday Night Football rolls. I'm going to take Atlanta. This is exactly what I said when we analyzed the Atlanta Saints game. You almost just have to default to the home team for some of these games. I don't really feel great about either one. Don't love this pick, but hey, I'm just going to be like, hey, I'm just going to take the home team and call it a day.
Fair enough. You're also betting on primetime Kirk, but
But hey,
I'm
primetime
gonna.
Kirk's 1-1 this year. He's 1-1.
That's true. That is true. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay here though. They just feel like they've got the better offense to me with the amount of points that they've been putting up in recent weeks. They had a one kind of bad game in there, but the other ones they came out hot and were scoring a lot of points, and I like that. I think they'll
Yeah.
be able to take care of business in Atlanta this week.
No, yeah, I agree. Their offense is better for sure. I'm worried about the offensive line, though, for them a little bit. And if they look anything like they did against the Broncos that one week, they're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jets at Vikings, one of the better matchups of the week. I'm going to take the Jets. I love what the Vikings are doing. I love what Sam Darnold's doing. I totally respect. I'm happy for them. But because of how down I was on the Vikings over the offseason, I have to pick against them every week. Like eventually they're going to lose. We said how hard it is to get to 4-0. It's even harder to get to 5-0 here. So, especially against a good team, we know Aaron Rodgers has owned the Vikings for a lot of his career. I think he comes in, gets a win, a much needed bounce back for the Jets after dropping one at home to the Broncos.
But your logic there was like the sunk cost fallacy. It's like, oh, I have to keep going in
It
on the
is, yeah.
Jets because
Just going in
like
deeper. I'm just keep buying in, keep losing money. Yeah, I know. But hey, eventually the Vikings are going to lose. Eventually Sam Darnold's going to Sam Darnold.
we'll see. I don't
Or
think it's going
maybe
to be
he
this
has a
week though.
crazy revenge game against his old team. Like, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be this week though. Jets looked pretty rocky. I know they were playing in some bad weather. Their offense just doesn't feel like they're it right now, and even against a team like Denver, they couldn't really seem to get it going. No, Denver's got a solid defense, but really thought they'd be able to do more. I don't even think they had a touchdown in that game. I think it was just all field goals.
Yep,
Um,
all field goals for the Jets.
yeah, I'm gonna be taking Minnesota this week. You got to ride the hot hand, bro. Sam Darnold is as hot as it gets right now, so I'm gonna keep rolling with him.
Yeah, and yet he's not even rostered in a ton of fantasy leagues.
I mean, he should be rostered in every single league.
He should be. Yeah, I mean, you lead the league in touchdown passes. You definitely should be.
Yeah,
But there will come a week where he has just one of those dull, not so great, borderline abysmal performances.
yeah.
All right. Carolina at Chicago. No way you're picking the Panthers here.
I
No
am,
way.
bro. I am,
Why?
bro.
Why?
What do you mean, why? It's the Bears, bro. You can't be betting on the Bears to win back to back weeks.
But when they're home back to back weeks against teams that are 1-3, yeah.
Look, Carolina is invigorated with their new QB. They nearly beat the Bengals last week, bro. They can take care of business in Chicago.
The Bears defense is so much better than the Bengals. If the Bengals had the Bears defense, the Bengals would probably be 4 or 5-0.
All right, that's a bold claim. It's a bold
I
claim.
mean, the
I don't
Bears
know, dude.
defense is a ton better than the Bengals defense. And I think Chicago will be able to score being at home here. I think they put up
Hmm.
some good points. The weather will be fine, so nothing to worry about there. But yeah, I just think this could be an ugly Andy Dalton game. And
You
I know how
think?
to call it. Like I called his
You did
300
call it
yard
well.
passing game, 3 touchdowns against the Raiders. This one could get ugly for Andy. This could be a sub 200-yard passing game for Andy. A pick, maybe two, maybe a
Hmm.
fumble in there. I don't know. I don't like Dalton here in this spot. This is a tough spot to go on the road. After you
You
just kind of got roughed up against the Bengals, you did get your one win there, so you don't have to wait all the way till like week
mhm.
11 or 12, whatever it was last year to get it. But
You do seem to be able to snipe Andy Dalton's talents much better than I can, but I just feel like his veteran status will trump Caleb's rookie status in this game.
I mean, it's
And
possible. Like I wouldn't be. It would surprise me, but I wouldn't be on the floor. Like if what are we
yeah,
having here? If San Francisco lost to the Cardinals, I'd be on the floor.
yeah, that's, I don't know about that though. On the floor,
I'd be on the floor, dude. Rolling all over the
Arizona
place.
Arizona held their own against Buffalo. They've kept it close in games. Not necessarily last week, but
You got blown out by the Commanders at home now. Come on.
yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
tough. That's
true.
a tough look.
Well, speaking of the Commanders, I'm a little bit surprised that you're betting your coin on the masseuse here, bro.
I
The
think
Commander,
they're
you told
bound. I
me,
mean, all right. I'm not sold on this. This is my least favorite
yeah,
pick of the week. I'm
you
not
told
huge
me
on
that the
this one.
Commanders are legit now, bro.
I do. I mean, again, I don't know. When I made these picks, I usually go through them kind of quickly. I'm looking at them now. If I filled out these picks like today, I could have chosen Washington. I'm very torn on this one. And if I could pick a tie, I would. This game
A
feels like a
tie?
tie. It feels like a
No, no,
twenty-three
no.
twenty-three tie.
23-23. This
23
feels
23
like
tie.
a maybe Jaden Daniels will go 23 for 23 passing when he pounds the Browns this week, but definitely not a 23-23 tie.
I mean, you're totally right. You could be totally right. I don't love this pick. I am going to take the Browns just because I feel like the law of averages will have to kick in for both teams. Commanders come down a little bit, Browns come up a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm.
Not the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm expecting another top tier performance out of Mr. Daniels.
Yeah, probably, to be honest. Miami at the Patriots. This is another one I don't love. I'm going to take New England just because they're at home. They have the better defense. I hated how Miami looked against the Titans.
Hmm.
Tyler Huntley probably will get better week in and week out, but just not really feeling it this week here against on a short week after all against the Patriots up in New England.
Yeah, also going to take New England just because Miami is dog water without Tua, and it feels like I honestly like vastly underrated how good Tua is. Not necessarily he's so good, but he is just essential for the Dolphins' performance of even hanging in games because without him, the Dolphins can't do a thing, bro. And
Well,
it's honest. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, it's the difference between having like a really good backup quarterback like Andy Dalton or Joe Flacco, and then having like Garbo backup quarterbacks like Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean they're atrocious. They're so
Yeah.
bad to watch, bro.
No, I
And
agree.
like the Dolphins players are just like benchable in fantasy at this point.
Yeah, I've benched Jalen Waddle. He's done.
Yeah, he should be. He doesn't even deserve to be in my lineup, bro.
Drop him.
Yeah, honestly. It's frustrating, bro. I
Drop
keep
him for
getting
the Juan Diddler, dude, who's getting 11 targets.
I keep getting trade requests from people in our league who are like trying to sell off Waddle to me, and I'm like, bro, like I'm 4-0 right now in our league. Like, what, do you think I'm not paying attention to fantasy? Like, I'm cool with
Right.
just like
Yeah.
taking Waddle for like DJ Moore. Like, I'm getting crazy requests, bro.
Everyone thinks that you're like, I don't know. No one really knows who you are in our league. And people are
Yeah,
like, how is he 4-0? Like his team is so bad. I'm like,
I don't
dude,
know,
it sets
dude.
up a big matchup between us, though. After I took
I
that
know.
week one loss, I've been kind of on a tirade.
Yeah, dude, you put up like 177 or something ridiculous
Yeah.
last week. That was
I still
absurd.
don't have as many points scored as you, though.
Yeah, I know. I've been like a consistent like 150 berg.
I
And
know.
dude, I'd have had even more. Kind of in a difficult situation right now. I have exceeded the roster limit on my team
Oh, shit.
with but like sleeper doesn't make you drop one the way ESPN does. I just can't make any changes to my roster right now because I'm beyond the limit. Like after I removed Kenneth Walker from my IR, he's like
Yeah.
now on my bench, but
Right.
I can't move anybody else until I drop a player.
Right. Okay.
And so I wanted to start Kenneth Walker last week, but I couldn't
Yeah.
because I can't make any changes. I was like, all right, like let's just leave it as is. And of course he puts up like 30 points.
Yeah.
But like who am I supposed to drop? Like Darnell Mooney's been looking nice, bro. And like
It's a tough call.
I don't want to get rid of Khalil Shakir. Like I
You gotta
I
make
need
a
these
trade or
guys.
something. Make a trade.
I
But
know.
that's funny though, because in our other league where we faced off, I did not
Hmm.
start Kenneth Walker or Debo Samuel because I thought they were still injured, and I still
Yeah.
beat you.
Well, you patted me in that league. My team's also poo. It's terrible.
You were 3-0 until you came up
That
against
was
the decimator.
I mean, I'm also facing teams who like don't set their lineup and they don't really know too much about football.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair, but I cannot
Yeah.
believe that I did not start Kenneth Walker and I still won.
Yeah. No, it was crazy. He had an absurd week.
All right, anyways, back to the picks here. Colts at Jaguars. I'm gonna take the Jaguars. I just don't think they go 0-5. This is a good spot for them at home here. You have the Colts coming off of it's a weird week where they almost blew a lead. They had to put in their backup quarterback. Practice is gonna be a little awry this week. The Jaguars are desperate. I mean, they are hungrier than any Jaguar you could actually find out in the wild. And this is a good
Yeah.
spot for them to feast on some horses.
I actually like your pick a lot. I was also making my pick a little rapidly today, and I should
Yeah,
have thought this one through a little bit more. But like, Trevor's practically playing for his job here, bro, and like
yeah.
he absolutely needs to get this win. I picked the Colts here. I'm not going to change it or anything, but yeah, it'd be pretty surprising for Jacksonville to go 0-5, especially knowing that Anthony Richardson's going to be out here. Colts are going to be having some other, they've got their backup in, and so it's uh it's a very winnable game for Jacksonville.
Yeah, plus he's always kind of owned the Colts. He's been very successful against the Colts.
Yeah.
All right, let's go Buffalo at Houston here, the game that we will be attending. Very excited for that. I'm going to take the Texans here just because they're at home. If it was in Buffalo, I would take Buffalo. Really good
Hmm.
teams. I just feel that Houston has the higher upside on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense can also really get after it. Buffalo's defense is a little banged up still, so I feel like
Yeah.
Houston has the edge here. But it should be a fun, high scoring, good game. I'd be shocked if this ends up being like 20-14.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a good game for sure. Two, 3-1 teams going at it here. Like the revenge game for Stephon Diggs facing his old team. And it feels like the Texans offense is going to be just the better offense on the field. They've got more receivers to throw the ball to. Buffalo doesn't really have guys to throw the ball to.
Yeah,
And so I feel more confident in picking the Texans this week than I do in picking the Bills. As much as it pains me to say that.
yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. All right, Baltimore at Cincinnati. I'm gonna take the Bengals here. This is just a law of averages game. Bengals are at home. They got swept by the Ravens last year. Joe Burrow's looking good. Baltimore have scored a lot of points in the first halves of the last two games. Offensive explosions, if you will. They got to come back down to earth. That does not happen again, despite how bad the Bengals defense has been looking. I love the under in this game. I feel like the Bengals defense actually plays pretty good. I feel like Baltimore's defense plays as per usual, and that under hits. I love the under in this game. This feels like a 23-20 Cincinnati victory.
It's a bold pick. You were picking a team here that was nearly 0-4. Um, but it could still happen, bro. Joe has to be so fired up and amped at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's certainly liable to happen, especially being division rivals.
Yep.
Seeing what Baltimore did last week, I'm gonna go with them. But I wouldn't uh I wouldn't be too surprised if the
Yeah.
Bengals pull off a win here.
Now there should be another really good game. You got a couple good noon games here. I'm pretty sure this one's also at noon. Really good noon
Yeah.
games. All right,
Yeah,
Vegas.
historically, these like Bengals and Ravens games are
Yeah.
quite solid games.
Yeah, I don't know why like one of these games isn't the game of the week. I don't know why one of these games isn't on prime time. The Bills,
Hmm.
Texans, Bengals, Ravens. I mean, I think both of them are definitely better than almost. I think all the primetime games are worse than these two. But anyways, Vegas at Denver, a game that's very hard for me to pick. I just don't think Denver wins 3 games in a row, so I'm gonna take the Raiders here to go 3-2. I mean, they feel like more of a 3-2 team than the Broncos do. And even though it's
Hmm.
on the road here, I don't think there's much of a home field advantage in this spot. So I'm gonna take the Raiders. Maybe they bounce back, have a little bit of a better offensive day, and the Broncos, they finally get punished for being so offensively inept. I mean, they've gone away with some not so great offensive performances over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly, bro. They put up 60 yards of passing and they
Yeah.
still win last week, which is absurd behavior. So I'm going to be taking the Raiders here as well. Can't say that they've looked great either, but I mean, they beat the Ravens already. They certainly have some potential there. Feel more confident in picking the Raiders than I would in picking the Broncos this week.
Yeah. We're on the same page about that one. All right, Arizona at San Fran. Spread's a little big on this one, but I do like the 49ers to win here. They've always destroyed the Cardinals. I mean, obviously, eventually the Cardinals will probably get one back, but I don't think this is a spot for them. I feel like the Cardinals already peaked this year. I feel like they already peaked, keeping it close against the Bills, beating the Rams. That was it. That was the peak for them. I feel like things are kind of going to go downhill for them. I don't love how they performed the last couple of weeks against the Lions. I don't love how they looked against obviously the Commanders. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do go on to win 7, 8 games, but I'm a little concerned about them after what we saw the last couple of weeks here, and so I'm going to take the Niners. They're definitely not going to go 2-3.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if they did. Division rivalry matchup here, and I like the 49ers to win this one. Um, However, I do think it'll be a little bit closer than you are anticipating. Um, I
I
don't know.
mean, I
I
think
still
the
think that,
spread's a little big. Like, I'd probably take the
yeah,
Cardinals if I had to because it's 7.5. If it was 6.5, maybe I'd take the Niners, but I would
yeah,
take the
yeah.
Cardinals plus 7.5.
Yeah, well, that's going to be one of my best bets for the week.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Giants at Seattle. I'm switching this one. I originally had the Giants down. I'm gonna go with the Seattle Seahawks. They looked really good last night. I think they should hopefully get a little bit healthier on the defense, but either way, they won't be facing an offense as potent as the Lions. So even if they're still a little deficient on the defensive side of the ball, they should be able to get some stops. And yeah, I really, really was impressed with how well they threw the ball and ran the ball for that matter. So I'm going to take him
Mhm.
here against the Giants, even though I had the Giants winning in the offseason.
I like the Giants here, bro. I think they're positioned well for a win. They played well against Dallas,
Yeah.
and I mean, I think Seattle is kind of a almost more of a fluky 3-1 team right now. They had more of an
Yeah.
easier schedule. They feel more natural to be like a 2-2 team right now. So I think that the Giants are kind of due for a win. They've only got one win right now, and they feel like they've been playing better than I expected them to. So I'm gonna roll with them this week.
Yeah. I mean, I originally put them down here, so I totally
Hmm.
see where you're coming from. I totally could see that. But after last night's performance sitting with me a little bit longer, I have to pivot to the Seahawks. All right, Green Bay at the Rams. I'm going to take the Packers to finally get a win here with Jordan Love. I think the Rams are entering dark times, obviously losing to the Bears, but now going home, losing to the Packers, also tough. Now, Packers traveling all the way out to the West Coast, not ideal, but I do think they get one here. The Rams are just too injured to put up much of a fight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Jordan Love will have some more time to heal this week and make sure he's fully locked in for this game against the Rams. And yeah, it's hard to pick the Rams when the best offensive talent is, or I guess best receivers like Tutu Atwell. They need some more help at receiver, and they're not going to get it until Puka or Cup comes back. So till then, gonna have to go with Green Bay, but it's been quite the fall for the Rams this season after we predicted them to go like 13-3 or something crazy, 13-4.
I really think they'd be capable of that if they had less injuries. Like I really
Yeah.
do like the team. It's tough right now.
Hmm.
All right, Dallas at Pittsburgh. I'm a little surprised with where this line's at. I'm going to take Dallas to pull off the road upset. I'm just not bought in on Pittsburgh's offense. I don't think their defense will be able to contain Dallas, even though they're so one dimensional. They can't really run the ball. But I think they're able to just get enough to get past Pittsburgh, who comes back down to earth a little bit this week. I mean, they did lose to the Colts, so they kind of already have, but I just
Hmm.
don't think they go 4-1, which is what they would if they were to win this game.
Yeah, I think Dallas's defense is going to put some major pressure on Justin Fields this week. I feel like he hasn't had you deal with that much yet. I mean, he was on the
Yeah.
Bears, didn't face Dallas all that often, and now, he's got a game here against Pittsburgh, and he's got to lock in and really try and deal with a really strong defense in the Cowboys. And I'm not sure he's going to stand up to par. He put up like 30 fantasy points last week, and I don't see him replicating that again here against a really strong Dallas team. So I'm
Yeah.
going to be taking them this week.
I think the Cowboys are pretty well equipped to deal with a rushing quarterback like, they dealt with Lamar a couple weeks ago. They obviously have dealt with
Hmm.
Jalen Hurts. So I think that they are pretty tested for QBs like this, and definitely one who can't throw the ball as well as, Lamar or Jalen. I mean, obviously you could have debates there, but I think both of them I would take over Justin Fields. All
Hmm.
right, Saints at Kansas City. I am switching my pick here as well. I'm going to take the Saints. I got the Saints hat on today, so I am switching to the Saints. The Chiefs are bound to lose one. I don't think we'll have an undefeated team after this week, according to my picks. The Chiefs have gotten lucky. Almost every week, something had to go a little squirrely for them to win. Whether it be the toe drag or whatever against the Ravens, whether it be, the Falcons not being able to put anything together. Mahomes has turned the ball over, I believe, in every game. He's had, some 2 interception games. He got lucky against the Bengals there. I feel like they come back down to earth a little bit. No
Hmm.
Rashee Rice. This is a tough spot for them. I think the Saints come in a little riled up after dropping 2 in a row.
Yeah, I'm excited for this primetime Monday
Yeah.
night game here. Definitely going to be a good one with, how many points the Saints have been putting up lately. I'm still going to take Kansas City, though. Feel like the Chiefs are going to be operating under the do it for Rashi assumption here. They're going to be motivated to get in the win after this tough loss. Like Mahomes is just going to feel so guilty. He's like, oh, I gotta get this win, bro. Need to do it for Rashi.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite possible. I would not be surprised. Obviously, the Chiefs are
Yeah.
the Chiefs, but I feel like this is a week that's very losable for them coming off of, that injury and also just
Yeah.
not looking dominant throughout the first few weeks. But there
And
you
they're
guys
facing
have
a
it.
good team.
They
So,
are facing a good team. Yeah, a very
yeah.
capable team. You got buys for Detroit, Chargers, Eagles, and Tennessee this week. FYI. Let me roll through my best bets real quick. I got a whole slew of them as per usual for college and the pros. Pros, Jets plus 2.5. I think they went outright, but let's just be a little careful and cautious here and take them on the points. I think the Bengals went out right, but I'm going to take them and the 3 points. Like I said, I think that game goes under 50.5, so I'll take that as well. I'll take Houston plus 1 right now. It's kind of a weird like pick 'em game almost. The Bills probably will end up being, 1 to 2 point underdogs. So I'm going to take Houston basically on the money line. Green Bay minus 3.5. I like them to cover against the Rams, just not really sold into. I mean, we talked about this. Rams are just too beat up. That's the end of
Hmm.
it. Carolina, Chicago. I told you guys I'm taking the under in every Bears game until something goes crazy. Did not hit this past week. I think that was a fluke. I think this one, especially the Panthers, goes under 42.5. Basically, Vegas is telling you if the Bears are favored by 4 points, the over-under's 42.5, that the Bears would win. I mean, what would that be? That's just too many points for the Panthers. I'm not going to do that math right now, but that's too many points for the Panthers. All right, Vegas plus 2.5. Yeah, I like them to win outright, but let's take them in the points. Dallas money line. I'll take that one on the money line. Jacksonville -3. I just add that one in. The more I talked about it, I feel like they finally cover. They did cover against the Dolphins week 1, but after that, they have not covered the spread. Cincinnati money line plus 130. Let's toss that in there. We got 3 bets. I'm going a little crazy on the Bengals Ravens game, but I really do feel good about it. And then Giants Seattle under 42. Who knows? Might get a little rainy up there in Seattle this week. Either way, both teams, you know, when I verbalize it, it doesn't sound as good, especially after Seattle led up so many points. I mean, 42, that's how many the Lions scored last week. It doesn't sound as good when I verbalize it. So I hope it rains in Seattle on Sunday. Let's just keep it at that. All right, college. Pittsburgh -3. Let's roll with them. Georgia -24. Bounce back against Auburn. Indiana against Northwestern. 13.5 point favorites on the road. Let me take them for sure. Rutgers +7 at Nebraska. A couple Big Ten games right there. Clemson, like I said, -14.5. I'm going to take them until it runs out. Tennessee -13.5. Another one. Pretty sure they've covered every spread. Let's keep rolling until they don't cover against Arkansas. Washington -2 at home against Michigan. I don't think Michigan's able to beat anyone of any sustenance. Sure, they can beat Minnesota by 3 points. Probably shouldn't have. The offensive or the onside kick should have gone Minnesota's way. They got lucky with that one. I feel like that kind of comes back to bite them here. Texas Tech +6. I like them. I believe. Who are they playing? Oh, man. Who are they playing? I feel like there's almost an injury for this game to be the way it's at. I have totally forgot who they're playing.
Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think they could win this game outright. Arizona's not looked great this year. Vanderbilt at home +23 against Alabama. I think Alabama comes down a little bit after that hugely emotional game against Georgia. And then I'm going to take the under in the Michigan-Washington game for reasons we've talked about on the show before.
Good stuff, dude. Gonna enjoy the slate this weekend. Gonna try and get back on track here. Take it all with a grain of salt. Four NFL bets for you this week. Giants +6. Feel pretty good about this one against Seattle here. Arizona +7.5. Already talked about that against the 49ers. Pretty big spread. We're the biggest on the board this week, actually. Washington -3. I mean, I already touched on this a bit, but like the Commanders feel pretty legit right now. So I think we're going to go with them this week. And then New England -1 against Miami. Like, took the Tennessee Titans -1 last week, and that paid off handsomely. So it feels like New England -1 would be a good bet here to follow up with the poor Dolphins play.
Yeah, I definitely like that New England bet. I'd be a little tentative on the others, but I like the New England bet for sure. -1.
Fair enough.
Do we have some fan mail down yonder here? It appears we
We do have some fan
Like
mail.
Jimmy went pretty hot.
Yeah, dude. 11-5 for Jimmy this past week. Surpassed us. And his year-to-date record is better than us.
Yeah. No, picking who do you have? Bengals, yeah, Falcons. Falcons, good pick there. He picked the Jets, okay. He had the Vikings, impressive. He had the Rams. Of course, he took the Bucks. Niners, Commanders, Chiefs. Is there anyone I'm surprised in here he picked? No. Yeah, those are just good picks. Probably smarter than mine, for sure, yeah. Should have
He's
understood the Commanders game a little bit better.
he's getting surgical with it, bro.
Yeah. He's hot right now, for sure.
Yeah. Keep sending it in, Jimmy. See if
Yeah,
you
dude.
can
You gotta start sending them in like before we record so we could talk about them in this episode. You gotta
we
pick at the
actually
same time. It's so much harder picking when you have to pick like 4 or 5 days in advance.
That's true. It's actually really funny you say that. He texted me on like Saturday, I think, and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna switch my Browns and Raiders pick because to the Browns because Max Crosby and like someone else is out." And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think I can allow that, bro, because because we make our picks early
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
I got to do the same for you. And then he was like, "Well, thank you ultimately because
Yeah,
the
that
Raiders ended
helped.
up winning, so it helped him out." But yeah, we will see what happens this week. But maybe we should have him start doing that, send in the picks by
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I mean, in order to be eligible, we got to talk about him like going into this week. Like everyone wants to know if Jimmy's so hot, we need to be able to trail his bets and his
That's
picks.
actually a good
And
point.
we need to know who he's taking for this upcoming weekend. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good point, bro. So send us your picks immediately,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
get on that shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it as always. Yeah, this is a good show. This was a good one today. Efficient.
Yeah, dude. It was nice and efficient, and I think that we're gonna have to record a little clip
Oh, for sure.
at the game this weekend and maybe post a little video about it.
For sure we are. Most definitely. It'll be a short, probably. Toss into the pod the following week as well. But yeah, guys, as always, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week for another episode. Bye now.